Claim they like riding, but I know that they ain't. Ride or die. I go hard in the paint, yeah, homie, I'm a saint. Ride or die.
Well, yeah, generally speaking, I think the atheist realizes, hey, I've bitten off more than I could chew here, and but then they just kind of wing it the rest of the time.
Actually, the only atheist that I think when I talk
Why is this being entertained?
because it's fun. Actually, the only atheist that I think realize that they messed up is when they're trying to disprove God's existence, but they don't even believe they exist or other people. At that point, I think then those kind of atheists just see their boat sinking.
What atheist doesn't think they exist?
Lots of atheists don't think they exist.
Really?
A Peronian skeptic? Some kind of radical Humean? I don't know. Those people are few and far between, though.
Like Godless Girl, it would be. She's not claiming that she doesn't exist.
She doesn't exist.
No, but she's an epistemic nihilist, which means that if you ask her, "Do you know you exist?" or she would say she can't know anything for certain.
Doesn't matter. She still believes she does exist.
She can't know that she believes she doesn't exist. She wouldn't make any truth value claim at all.
So now what? No. She would make a truth value claim. She claim that she exists.
She's not going to make a claim to knowledge.
I didn't say a claim to knowledge. I said a claim to truth.
She won't claim to knowledge. She will not.
I didn't say that. I said a claim to truth. She will make that claim.
A claim to truth is a claim to knowledge.
No, it isn't.
If you're asserting a fact of reality, do you know it to be true or do you not know it to be true?
No.
And if you're just blindly asserting truth statements with no value behind them, then why are they truth statements?
With no value behind them? It's a truth statement because the statement is about what's true. It's not a statement, and making a statement about what's true doesn't require A, that you in fact are justified in that, or let alone that you believe that you are justified in that.
So truth by definition means that it is justifiable.
No, it doesn't.
If truth does not need to be justified, then anything can be truth, and you can just pull anything out of your butt.
Yeah, look, a broken watch is right twice a day.
It's true if it's true.
Right.
It's true if it's true. It's not true if it's true and justified. Like, come on. What are you saying?
Like, there's a distinction between a true proposition and a false proposition. So if you are saying that you don't need any justification for a truth proposition, then you don't need any justification for a false proposition. Means that they're vacuous. There's no distinguishing metric between the two.
You're confused. We're not talking about how you would distinguish whether it's true or false. We're talking about whether it is true or false, right? It being true or false doesn't require that you have some justification for believing it or denying it. It's just whether it's the case. If I say that it's raining today, that's either true or false, regardless whether I have any reason to believe that whatsoever, right? It's just true if it in fact is raining. And she could say that she exists, and that could be true because she exists, even if she has no justification for that, and even if she, by her own lights, has no justification for that.
So this is where you're conflating something. So, like, we could have 3 rocks there without applying any numerical value to it. There would be things there that we can identify, but we don't have necessarily the way to count them. But if you say there is 3, then you have to have a methodology behind it. When you say that something is true versus false, you are.
No, you just get confused. You don't have to have a methodology. You need to be able to make the claim.
Ask him why.
Okay, I'm gonna go get coffee now.
Wait, James, before you go,
I'll explain it.
Remember a second ago, James, you said like when an atheist realizes when they messed up in a conversation. Did we just?
Well, I tell these guys if 2 people start talking over me, I just go get a cup of coffee and I'll come back shortly.
Yeah, but just answer my question.
Well, maybe continue listening though, James.
I mean, it's pretty trivial. I didn't think that someone would make this sort of naive mistake, right?
Yeah, he realized it.
The fact that you can make a claim.
I don't think I want James to realize
all that's required to make the
claim. But you trying to explain to him or tell him he's wrong is less effective than you asking him why he thinks it is, because then he's thinking through it while he's telling you why it is.
Well, he's just going to say the same thing over. Maybe he will,
but I think it's more likely that he'll see the error.
I think it's more likely that he'll just repeat the same thing that he just said.
You might.
I don't know.
Yeah, James is just going to keep repeating it.
So, all right. So we got 2 votes for James repeating, 1 for JJ thinks he won't. Who else is on either side here?
I think he'll repeat.
That's not my claim, Ninja. Don't misrepresent me.
If James keeps repeating, Detroyer will keep talking to him. Then we can post that meme of Detroyer talking to his ball.
James has a pattern where he makes a naive mistake, has it pointed out to him, and then he's got to go offline and stew on it for a little bit, and then he'll come back and pretend like he never made that mistake.
Well, there's also a doubling down.
Yeah, or he'll double down, but he'll act like it never
Just
happened.
come back to remind everyone that I do not listen to what happens when I'm getting coffee. Like when I'm overtalked, I check out for that period of time. So just keep that in mind, everyone.
Wait.
Checked out for a little
It's okay.
while.
That's why you're interrupting Mo now, right, James?
That's
you checked out.
See, what that is the spite thing that James has right there. That's the spite thing in spades right there.
Is that like
I'm
when
not
you
listening,
someone?
and I want you to know I'm
It's
not
like
listening.
pure passive aggression, right?
Or it might even be that he is listening, but he wants you to believe that he's not.
I do.
I think there's a lot of that.
We need to watch the filing a little bit because I think Detroit and James should have had.
Thank you, Haiti.
Well, to a certain extent.
There's no dogpiling. There's me interrupting Detroit.
Yeah, well.
But my interrupting Detroit was stopping him from interrupting James from explaining himself.
Well, okay. I mean, you could say that.
There's no well.
Well, no,
it's exactly
I
true.
am welling.
Wait, but him explaining himself was saying the same thing again, and it was wrong
I'm
again.
sitting down with coffee, and I am out of creamer this morning. This is terrible.
No milk?
He was listening.
I want to vote for a third option where you pose like hypotheticals that James would hold to, like someone asserting some sort of proposition which is true without justification, and then him having to hold that it's not true.
That's another way of.
Like, what if we have 2 people guess on one side of a dichotomy? Just guess. Like, is there uranium on Mars? Me and JJ, I'm going to take the positive. JJ's going to take the negative. Like, neither of us are justified. Does that mean we're both false? Dumbass.
I'm gonna say the number of stars in the universe is even.
Right.
No, that's not even what's being discussed, David.
You said that you need a method of like justification or methodology to get to the root of the matter. Now, if we just both guess on the both sides of a dichotomy, then one of us is going to be right without the methodology.
Actually, you both could be wrong. Maybe there's a third option that you're
not an
unaware
exclusive.
of.
No. Not if it's not the dichotomy is the dichotomy is if there is uranium on Mars or not.
James, just take the L, dude. What are you doing?
No third option there, right, James?
Well, if it's just uranium on Mars, and yeah, sure, that's a dichotomy.
Yeah, so then if I take the negative and JJ takes the affirmative, one of us is right, even though we guessed, right?
Now, there could be a situation where somebody could figure out how to convert something to uranium. So in that particular conversation, they may argue that there's uranium on Mars.
This is one of the
It's just
this is one of the most blatant accounts of like dishonest cope that's been on Clubhouse for a
what happened was we were talking about truth, and everybody
that was one of the most ridiculous responses I've heard in a while.
Christian was saying that truth needed no value behind it, and if you don't believe that truth has any value behind it, then what distinguishes it between false? And then you have to give like that symmetry breaker.
Oh my God,
it's true.
And you can't just say it is that it is. You can't just say that it is.
My folding of James is pretty expedient.
This is equivalent to when like a theist just said God exists because God exists. We don't do that because that's not an argument.
It could be.
James, I think the issue might be. I think the issue. No, I think the issue might be his definition of value. When you say value there, do you just mean that it is either true or false? Or do you mean like it has value to you as an agent? Is that what you mean? What do you mean by value?
No, when you're saying what is the truth and what is falsehood, within the truth there is a definition. There is something that demonstrates it. If something is false, there's either something that demonstrates it's false or it doesn't have enough information to demonstrate its truth. If you're making truth as some vacuous statement that has no justified true belief behind it or any justification, then I think that you start failing at your definitions and you make it vacuous.
No, they're saying that out in the world there is a truth there. Would you agree with that, James?
I would say there is
independent of what I think, right? There's a truth there, right? Independent of me.
Yeah, I would say there is a truth.
Yeah, either there is uranium on Mars or there isn't, right? Regardless of what we think.
Yeah, we're talking about outside of what people think. We're just talking about
but you're shifting the goalpost because hang on. You're shifting the goalpost because the issue was I claimed that Godless Girl is not going to claim knowledge or to be able to make truth statements. She's not going to take that burden on herself because she's an epistemic nihilist.
No, she will make truth statements.
She does not believe.
She does. You're wrong.
Right? Just to bring it back to the example, right? Like, do you think that one of me or JJ...
Come on, guys. I've already gotten one cup of coffee. Okay, I don't want to leave again so quickly.
Just one at a time, please.
So truth statements, when you're just making that, you're saying that there is some value behind it. Now, she does not claim to have any knowledge or justification to claim anything. That's why even yesterday on the video that I put on my channel, when asked, does she know that she has a YouTube channel? She said no. I don't claim to know anything or to demonstrate anything, something to that effect. If you guys pay close attention to an epistemic nihilist, they're not claiming that there is an absolute truth that's knowable. They may concede that there might be a truth, but they're not actually claiming it for themselves, which is her position. So unless you have some value behind it, justification, then it's not the truth.
No, it's not quite close. You're right that she won't claim knowledge on any of these things. And she might even deny that she has knowledge on any of these things. That's kind of her position. But she will claim things. She will claim that she has a YouTube channel. She will believe that she has a YouTube channel. She'll just deny that her belief amounts to knowledge or is justified. That's clearly coherent, right? She could do that. She could have that position.
She could say
right?
she has a true belief, but it's an unjustified truth, right?
Yeah, that's her position.
No, she would just say that I have a YouTube channel, but I don't know I have a YouTube channel. I can't believe that with any certainty. I may or may not be here. These are statements that the epistemic nihilist makes, that they make vacuous statements, but they recognize that because if you ask her, is it a vacuous statement, you claiming to know you have a YouTube channel, she's going to say yes, it's vacuous. It means nothing.
Okay, is there a
So you just one second.
That's literally incoherent. That's literally incoherent. She can't say it means nothing because it's not a statement.
That doesn't matter. James just said that she will say she has a YouTube channel. That is a true statement. She said she'd say that, but she wouldn't say that she knows she has a YouTube channel.
She would not make
just conceded that she makes.
She would not make that as a true statement, JJ.
Statements. What kind of statement is it then?
She makes a statement, but she doesn't claim to have any truth value behind it.
She claims it's true. She's claiming
it's a statement that is either true or false, right?
She just believes. When Godless Girl gets back in the room, we'll just ask her. Hold on,
it's trivial. She makes claims
all
the time.
Verify it,
right?
I can show you that I can show you that I'm right when she gets back. You're wrong, JJ.
I can't believe it.
What am I wrong? What am I wrong about? What am I wrong about?
JJ, she is going to tell you that she's making statements, but she does not believe there's any truth value behind her statements. She's going to say that
she believes. Doesn't matter if she believes.
I don't believe that you believe that. You're insane. She doesn't.
It doesn't matter if she believes. It doesn't matter if she believes there's truth behind it. It's still a statement that has a truth value, right, James?
No.
Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, fuck.
Unreal.
No, you could make statements that are...
Wait, James is right.
You think that Godless Girl doesn't think that any of these things are true.
Yeah, you guys don't pay attention to what epistemic nihilists mean.
Detroit, go back to reading, bro.
She's not claiming
epistemic nihilism entails.
Hang on. I just want you to go and ask her if she can make any statement that has a truth value behind it.
Yeah.
She's going to say no.
She'll say yes immediately. So it's like so obvious. She does it 10
She'll
times
say no.
a minute.
Both of you
What?
are wrong. My answer is I don't know, but I don't know anything. So
No. Hang on. I agree that you would say you don't know, but that wasn't the question. I'm asking what your belief is. Do you make truth claims?
I don't know.
I don't care whether you know it. I didn't ask whether you know it. I didn't ask whether you know it. So that's an inappropriate answer. I asked whether you believe it.
I don't know.
But I
if
don't
believe
know
it or
is a
not.
justified answer.
She does know.
Better answer, James.
I don't care if you know whether you believe it or not.
That?
What?
I don't know is a justified position on the proposition you gave her.
It's not an answer. It's not
She's
an answer
not
to the question.
claiming,
I'm not
but
asking.
she's
I'm not
doing what I
wondering.
look.
Hang on.
She's saying that
I'm not wondering whether she
she's
knows
saying
it.
that we're both
So that's not an
wrong,
answer to my question.
and that I'm saying,
James,
hold on,
stop
look.
talking. Let her talk.
She's saying that we're both wrong, but I'm more right than you are in this because I said she
No,
wouldn't
she's
make claims of knowledge or claims to make
yeah.
truth
Obviously,
statements. She's saying I don't know, which means she's not making either side of that claim, which
Yeah.
means I am
Yeah,
right.
is I don't know a
James is
truth
correct.
no.
statement?
She's not answering the question. So I don't.
But is that a truth
I
statement
don't.
for her
I
to
don't
say that
care
she doesn't
whether
know?
Everybody
I
should
don't
be
care
quiet
whether she
except for
knows
GG.
it.
You're
and
insanely
Victoria.
loud,
Please
Orson.
stop.
Just let Gallus talk.
Yeah, okay.
She's not answering the question. I don't care whether she knows it. It's just not an answer to my question. I'm just asking whether she believes it.
Do you have
And I'm
beliefs,
saying I don't
Godless, or
know
do
is
you,
not an answer to that question. You could
but
decline to
Godless,
answer, I guess.
Godless, do you have beliefs,
I
or
don't
do you
know.
believe that you have beliefs?
Yeah, I don't even care if she has beliefs.
I'm just asking.
I don't care whether she knows or doesn't know.
That
So that's not
don't
an answer
know.
to my question.
Or
Yeah,
I
what
I
don't
don't know
know
what that
what you guys
means.
don't understand. I don't know how to answer the question. I
with
don't know.
with respect to what was claimed,
Do you not understand the question?
is that Godless doesn't make
So
true
She makes
true
claims all the
statements.
so let
time.
me
I
let
think you may
me
be
hold on.
misunderstanding the question.
Wait.
I don't know.
Let's ask the
Can
question
you
this way
wait?
too.
Can you wait? Can you wait, James?
Well, you guys aren't
Brothers,
asking her
do
the
you have
question. You're
brothers, do
talking
you have
around
Can you
her.
beliefs?
wait?
Do you
You
have
guys
Can
are
you
beliefs?
wait, Jesus?
mansplaining. Just ask her the question.
No. Well, no. This
Does
is
she make
I'm
truth
actually
statements?
James. I'm James
Oh my God.
splaining actually, because
Just
you
ask
said
her
that
the
she
question,
doesn't make
JJ.
James. You said that she doesn't make statements about truth.
Yeah, and
That's
she's
what you
not
said.
claiming. She's not
It
claiming
doesn't
to make.
matter.
She's
She's
not
already done
claiming
that
to make
like
truth
100
Doesn't
times.
statements
matter.
or statements about truth.
She's
JJ,
already done that
she's
dozens
not.
of times in this room.
Then what?
I'm
Then
just,
what are her
you know,
statements? In
yeah,
fact, her saying "I don't know" is a
that is a
statement
truth
about
statement.
truth.
Yeah.
Well, you guys
Oh, that's
did too
brutal.
much mansplaining, and now she's out of the room again.
I don't
I think
actually
she's
care.
I
It's you.
think she's like
It's you that
weirdly
needs the help,
misunderstanding the question.
Wow.
What
Y'all
hinges?
Well,
take
actually,
that too low.
James is actually the one taking Godless's position, right, the entire time until she came in and told him he was wrong.
No,
So, I mean, James, you spent a
no,
long time
Ninja.
mansplaining, right?
No, Ninja. Here's the thing. I said that she is not claiming to make any statement with truth value because that's the epistemic nihilist
No, it
position.
isn't. You don't
She
understand
came in
epistemic nihilism.
and just said she would say, I don't know. But that also means the logical entailment is she's not claiming any knowledge or truth value statement because her position is I don't know. So I'm still
Okay.
right, Ninja. You're just very wrong.
So
Do you
you're wrong on
do you
both.
take
You're
truth?
wrong on
No,
both accounts.
do you just take truth as different from knowledge, or you just see them synonymously, identically?
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
sounds
he's
like you can't
confusing
explain
epistemic
them. Actually.
nihilism
No,
with like Pyrrhonian skepticism. Like
yeah, he doesn't
it's
know what you're
not the
talking
same
about,
position.
though. So
Yeah.
that's not
Well,
convincing to him.
clearly.
So I'm just asking James: are they synonymous, knowledge and truth?
I just would like you to concede friction because you claimed she would
Now we're
come
not.
in.
Now you're just skipping past my question,
You're
man.
dodging.
She didn't. She
I
didn't.
find that
She
offensive,
declined to
James.
answer my
If
question.
you can
I'm trying to
concede,
understand you.
No, she declined to
if
answer
you
my
can
question.
concede that other point, if you can concede that she did not
No.
come in and claim that she could make knowledge statements or truth statements, then we can move on. But if you're unwilling to admit that, then we're at like a
No. Hang
stalemate
on.
where you're being dishonest and then just asking
No.
questions later.
So doubly wrong. Of course, from the outset, I agreed that she wouldn't make knowledge claims. Now, the fact that she didn't make a truth claim or didn't say that she makes truth claims, I think she just misunderstood the question because she didn't actually answer my question. So and clearly she did it. Even her responding to that question was her doing that. So it's like, I don't know if she's just confused about the question or how to answer it. I don't know what to say there. So I'm obviously not going to concede on that because she does that. She has beliefs, and she believes that she has beliefs. even though she didn't respond to that appropriately.
She does not believe she has beliefs.
Yes, she does.
She says she believes things all the time.
She does not, Friction. You need to watch more of her debates and her videos, and then read up on what epistemic nihilism is, because
you think you know more about
misrepresenting it
epistemic
terribly.
nihilism than me? Are you
No,
saying
no. He just
now I
he's
think I
just
do.
mansplaining to you for godless. That's all. Destroyer.
Epistemic nihilism is not claiming anything.
No, wrong.
They're not taking a
What?
positive
Wrong,
position.
wrong,
They're not taking a negative
wrong,
position.
wrong, wrong. Epistemological nihilism is the view that we do not have any knowledge and perhaps cannot have any knowledge. That's the view. That's all that it says. It doesn't say that you cannot have beliefs. It doesn't say that you cannot make claims about truth. It just says that we do not have knowledge and perhaps cannot have knowledge. That's the view, right? So whatever you're saying, you're just wrong. You're just confused.
Friction, you're confused. Have you ever asked somebody who holds this position if they believe that their statement?
I've read dozens of papers on this, right?
So cut me off again, Friction.
I'm not
keep cutting me
needless
off.
appeal to authority.
The answer is yes, James.
You're just not. You're losing so badly in this conversation that you need to keep cutting.
With people that have had
He's
this.
just
You're so
answering
close to
your
your
question.
mic. Your mic is like peaking. Can all these people that are like
suicide by taking
swallowing their
coffee.
mic stop?
Am I loud?
No, it's Orson and James is tired currently.
But I don't know why we just don't move on. I mean, James obviously isn't being earnest and honest here. I asked a very reasonable question, and he skipped past it just to complain about the other conversation.
James
he's
said
he's not looking to answer anything here.
James said that we should look more into like Godless's channel. If you check the chat, James, I sent a video from Godless's channel, and if you watch the first 20 seconds, she said that she believes things, or she says that she has beliefs, which would contradict your.
Yeah, I've heard her say that dozens
She
of
would
times.
never say that they're justified.
actually,
she would
she would
not.
also-
No. Wait. Whether or not they're
justified.
whether or not they're
Wait, so-
justified is completely irrelevant. Just look at the video
Wait,
and see if.
he just granted it. He
Yeah,
granted
that
it.
means
I
that
know.
they're vacuous. She's not claiming any truth
No,
statements.
wait. That's
which is
also
what
irrelevant.
You guys
James. That's
miss.
also irrelevant.
You
That's
guys are
also-
claiming that she made true statements.
No.
She does not
Yeah,
make
truth
true
constantly.
statements.
Not.
She did that 20 times in here.
If you're claiming that she just
Truth,
uses
not
words,
true.
then
James,
if you're just
true.
saying,
You're
if you're just saying
Why
that
are you
she,
talking?
because you keep cutting me off. You and like four other
no,
atheists
I was-
have nothing better to do today. Are just cutting me off over and over and over again, repeatedly. All she's doing
me
is
when you're done.
speaking. She's making vacuous word statements. They have no value behind them. Hence, she's not claiming that they're a truth statement.
If by
But
vacuous
this
you
is
mean
just the
not
this is the
justified or
fact
not
of the
known,
matter.
that's
You guys
correct
don't
in her
understand the
view.
position.
Of course, she will say that they're true and that she believes them. But she does that all the time, right? She will just say that she doesn't know them and they're not justified.
Detroit's
That's the
claim is
epistemological
that
nihilist position.
Detroit's claim is that she believes things, doesn't know anything. Your claim is that she doesn't claim to believe anything either, James. Right?
Yeah, I rest my case.
You rest your case. Okay, I take that as a concession.
So you're just not even going to answer that question?
Yeah, I just take that as a
Matt.
concession.
No, because you guys aren't
James,
following along with
James,
the
several
conversation,
times.
and you
No,
guys
that's not
aren't
true.
willing to let one-on-one happen. Because it has to be like 3 or 4 of you. Because you
That's not
guys
true
have to
either.
bail each other out because you're afraid the other person might do bad. But trust me, I've seen Friction's channel. He can
Also not
handle
true.
himself in a philosophical conversation. He doesn't need help. But you guys seem to want to help him out.
I don't think that they think that I need help.
They just have ADHD and they want to join in. Not that they don't. Troy can handle it.
Detroit needs help because he doesn't know anything.
Does Godless think she could know things without being justified? Like
Also,
she could-
Troy
but
goes
she could
way
have
over
knowledge?
your head at times, and I try to stop him from doing that.
Okay. I mean, what hinges on this? Yes,
You got to remember to keep it dumbed down a little bit for James.
What hinges
James's mansplaining pride. That's what hinges
but
on this.
nothing important hinges on like James's idea of what epistemological nihilism.
Well, don't speak for James. It's important to him, it seems.
Well, can I
Important
ask
take the dub.
just a simple philosophical question here?
Well, look,
Godless Girl said
Destroyer,
that she
that
doesn't
he knows,
claim to know anything.
I'm going to defer to
But if
Destroyer, the big philosophy nerd who reads philosophy books instead of like, other things he could be doing over James. Sorry, James, no offense. And I would defer to
Right.
Detroit.
Well,
Right. What
I
was
might.
Matt's question?
Well, my
here's the problem. If you
question.
just
Why?
appeal to authority,
Wait, James, why are
then
you
you're
talking
not
over these
actually
people?
verifying the
I
Why are you
have
authority.
talking
good
over
reason
these
to
people?
think
Because
Detroit knows more about philosophy, James. I have very good reason to think that.
you know, have you ever heard the term "you're the smartest dumb person I know"? You could know something well, but be so having your head in your ass that you don't know this other subject because you have so much justification and things you're claiming that you can't actually demonstrate that you're afraid to concede a point, and that's what's happening now.
Look,
You know,
how
you have too much
many
information.
nihilism you read?
Destroyer.
How
Oh
many?
man.
What point would you
What
like
was Matt's?
conceded?
I
James,
don't.
James,
Yeah,
What
let's
point
James,
just go
needs
with
to be
that.
conceded,
no,
James?
James just
What was
said.
Matt's
James
question?
just said Destroyer has so much research on this particular subject. We shouldn't ask him because he's got to
Yeah,
focus on his research and not
Yeah,
research
yeah.
yeah.
items or something.
We're
Well, I
talking
want to know
about
what
the
Matt's. I want to know what Matt's
bias.
question was.
We're talking about the bias, Ninja. Try to keep along following the
Fine,
conversation.
fine,
Yeah,
Yeah, that's great.
a
fine.
bias that
He's
you
getting
don't
snarky
have or
now.
someone
He's
else
getting
has. What are
snarky.
you talking about? You have lots of
James,
Matt had a
bias.
question. I
James,
wanted to hear Matt's
what?
question.
I don't know what James
Well, my
thinks the point
question
needs to be
was,
conceded.
there's a lot of
That's fine.
people here with ADHD that can't
Uh huh.
keep quiet. But my question was, Godless Girl came in here earlier and said she's not claiming knowledge on anything.
Right.
But
Uh
what you
huh.
But that
guys are
wasn't the
saying is
question.
she's saying she believes. So if someone were to say, do you know you have these beliefs? Wouldn't she also have to say, I
She would
can't
say
know that
no.
I have these beliefs?
She
Yeah,
would
she
say
would say
no. She
no.
believes she has beliefs.
Well,
Doesn't
Godless is
matter.
back, so let Detroit
This,
talk to her.
Okay, so
So
she would
Of
just have to
course,
say,
of
I
course, she would
believe I
say.
have beliefs, and that's it. But I can't know that
On
I have
her view,
beliefs.
she has beliefs, but they're not justified, right? That's the whole point of the nihilist position.
Okay, so when she says, I have beliefs, even that statement is just a belief in and of itself. She can't know
Yes,
that.
she
Okay,
wouldn't.
that's all.
Her
That's
belief that
all I
she has
wanted to
beliefs
know.
isn't justified.
That's
Whatever
all I
belief
wanted to know.
you point out and ask her if it's justified, she'll say no.
Okay,
the belief
yeah,
that she
that
doesn't
Right?
was
know,
my
right?
question that
Yeah.
I thought interesting. Okay,
why don't you try talking to her
She,
now, since she's
I
here?
mean, as soon as she says "I don't know," she's just expressing a belief.
Yeah, that's a true statement.
You're right. She says, I don't know I have
yeah,
beliefs. That's what she says.
and so that would ultimately be a belief. I don't know if I have. That I don't know that I have. I don't know, but I have beliefs.
Yeah. So,
It's not a
sometimes you'll
statement of
come across.
knowledge. It's just a
Oh,
statement of belief, right?
Sometimes you'll come across people who are called Pyrrhonian skeptics, and what they'll say is they don't even have beliefs. And while they say that, they'll also deny that their statement reflects a belief that they have. It's just like they're making sounds, but everything else they have it's just some disposition to make sounds or something, but it's not really expressing a belief. I don't think that's Gondas's position. I think she's merely an epistemological nihilist, someone
I
that
think beliefs
might have
are
beliefs, but thinks that they're not justified, and no one's beliefs are justified. But
aren't
nevertheless, a sense to having beliefs.
okay. So we good now?
aren't
I just
beliefs
want
Yep,
to give it up for
folded
Matt.
like a chair.
aren't
I
beliefs
just want to
all
give it up for
dispositions
Matt.
anyway?
I just want to give it up for Matt for showing a little bit of reasoning here on what the other side was trying to say, as opposed to just repeating some dogmatic stance over and over
This is
again.
what I
You
Great
guys
do.
job.
were
This
folded
is
like a
what I
chair.
do.
Wait, but did you get James's tired to agree?
No.
No.
What do you think,
Yeah,
Jack?
because I can't agree with the wrong statement, Jack. I have to, like, Jack, these guys were not
Oh
understanding what
my god.
epistemic nihilism is, which is really
James,
sad.
Can you believe
can
that?
I
Can
ask
you
you
Exactly.
one?
You
believe that,
literally
Jack?
misreported like trivially what the thesis was. You
Can
said
you
it's
believe
like
that Jack
someone.
James,
Destroyer doesn't know what epistemic nihilism is? What a
Is that
joke.
Leo
I
She said
Filius?
that Matt Slick
I
wasn't a
don't
precept.
And
believe
who
that,
was
but I
that? Was that
don't
Leo
have the
Filius?
justification for that belief.
And who was it that just butted in a second ago? It sounded like someone. It sounded like Leo, but
Me?
who was
No, that
that?
was Jeff Pumpkin.
Oh, that was Jeff. Oh, you sound different.
I'm on my headset.
Oh, that's why. Okay, never mind.
James, can I ask you two questions?
You can ask, I can't promise that I'll answer.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
so when Godless says, I don't know, is that a true statement?
From her perspective, no.
And if she was to say,
She's
I do know. Is that a true statement?
From her perspective, it's not a true statement. She's saying, I don't know. She's not claiming to be able to make truth statements. She's not claiming that when she says, I have a YouTube channel, that I actually have a YouTube channel, that there's value behind it. It's vacuous. She understands that from the epistemic nihilist position.
Yeah, so Troy, you're totally right.
I just find it funny that you guys are like dying on this hill.
No, James.
What hill?
Crazy.
I will
It's
say
not
what
really
James
anywhere to
is saying
die. It's just kind of
is my
obvious.
understanding of her position as well.
You think her position is that she won't even make claims or rejects that she has beliefs?
Yeah, I
So
think that
that's
I think she's even admitted sometimes that she just likes going after these arguments without any justification or anything. It's just,
Oh
even though
no,
she can't know anything
hang
about
on.
it.
We're to be clear, Matt. We're on the same page regarding justification. She denies that she has any justification for her beliefs.
Well, even
She doesn't
that,
think
Yeah,
she knows
she's not
anything.
claiming
even
to
that
have
doesn't
justification like
would
Friction
have to be a
asserted either,
belief,
Matt.
right?
Of course, I said from the beginning, and of course would say that she denies that she has justification. Yeah,
So then
that's
she
the
does
whole
not
view,
believe
right?
she's making truth statements.
No, she doesn't believe that she knows she's making truth statements. Of course, she
Doesn't
believes she's
matter.
making truth statements.
Doesn't
She's
even matter
not
if she
saying that
believes
she's
it.
making truth statements.
She may not
Doesn't
say it,
matter.
but
So
she
from her
believes it. She
position,
is
there are
Jesus.
no truth statements that can be attained.
attained.
That's what
She makes
epistemic
truth statements.
nihilism is.
No,
That's
it
what she
isn't.
argues against other people. That how
If
can they make any claim of certainty, knowledge, truth, or value?
you're conflating a bunch of things together into one, right? The whole epistemological nihilist position is that she's not making knowledge claims. In fact, she would deny that she has knowledge or that anyone has knowledge, right? She might even think that knowledge is impossible in some sense. Nevertheless, she has beliefs. She makes claims, and whether or
She
not she's going to
believes she has
verbalize that
beliefs.
here, she recognizes that, right? She'll just deny that her beliefs are
No, she
justified.
believes she has beliefs. She doesn't know she has beliefs. That's how it is.
Yeah, I already said that, John. Man.
That's her
Wow, is
position.
John Lee and
Exactly.
Matt against James here?
Well, I think
Depends
I
what
James
James.
is
expect
kind of
John.
agreeing with us. I
I
don't think
expect
he's really
John would get with
disagreeing.
this. I expect John would get it actually.
James, do you think that you're folding Matt and John on this?
Maybe.
No, because Matt and them agree with me on my criticism of you guys.
I don't
So
think they
I
do.
don't think I think
Yeah,
I
actually, I've
don't
been
think they're
listening.
agreeing
James
with
has
you guys.
gerrymandered properly, in my view.
See, this is atheists
James,
What
not
did you
paying
say?
attention or
John,
observing the
John,
situation.
Wait, what
John,
did
you
you
What?
say,
realize,
John?
John,
Can
you
you
realize what
repeat
you
that,
just
John?
said.
Yeah, it seems like
You
James is
realize
on
what you
pretty
just
good
said a
par,
minute ago
I would say.
contradicts James' view. So I don't know why you would think
See, this is
he's
atheists
steel
that
What did
just
John
don't
manufactured.
know
say?
the conversation. Just like vacuously talking in the wind. You didn't even know the point they
What
were
did John
making.
say?
James,
Hey
Yeah,
James, I
James,
literally James, wait, James, I'm gonna lose my mind. Can you please get your mic away from your mouth because it really is unbearably loud. I don't know what
just a
the
I'm
little
problem
not
bit.
is.
doing
How many times have I
anything
said that?
different today than any other day.
Who cares? Just move the mic, and then we'll move
Maybe it's
forward.
because you're excited or you're speaking more forcefully, and so there's more breath leaving your mouth. I don't know, but it's unbearable.
well,
Could it
from my
be that
understanding, she
he's
never
making good
claims she
points and
knows.
you guys
She
don't want to
claims she
hear it?
believes. She doesn't even claim
I'm
she
not.
knows she
Correct.
Yeah, we
believes.
know that.
She
That's been
Exactly.
claims she
established
believes.
What?
James
already,
does not
John.
agree with that,
Higher
When
John.
they
volume of
say
bullshit.
James
James
thinks, yeah,
disagrees.
James does not
what,
agree with that, John.
James thinks she
what
won't
what
make
does
truth
James think
claims or that she
epistemic?
believes in a thing or a thing like that. Yeah.
No. What does James think epistemic is doing in the name epistemic nihilism?
It's forming part of the name.
Yeah, that's what I'm leaning towards. That he doesn't understand what that definition implies.
We need Alethis here to
Well,
go. He was
episteme
hating on
is
you,
more of
right?
like a term from
Yeah, we need
Plato, and
Alethis here to go back to the Greek. Yeah.
right.
So,
I heard Dad said that Detroyer was getting aggravated. I think I was in the
Yeah,
shower.
and he raised his voice.
Yeah, that I'm gonna need
Love
the
that.
audio on
yeah,
that.
that's good. I have to.
This is an irritating conversation.
James is tired. James is folded.
Time to go to bed. James.
No, but
Spite room
but
in T-10 minutes.
no,
James
but
is
the
your
thing
daddy.
is, why not just have Matt and John reason it out with James? Because
Like that.
I take it
Because
Matt
they
and
agree with
John.
me.
No, but
John said something that contradicts what you said.
Yeah,
it's a good idea. We should do that.
No, but
This is like that time that this is like that time where James said, "Yeah, well, Tom, you and this other guy that I'm talking to, I'm just gonna assume that you're wrong because I got a message from someone in the back channel who I respect on their ability to understand these things, and they say that I just folded both of you guys, and turns out that person was Godless Girl,
Ooh.
who later admitted that she was just saying that just to troll."
Why would you listen to her when you
not to mention she doesn't even know
knows anything?
if that's true.
I think that sometimes she doesn't want to, get people in the room mad at her by sharing her proper view,
Opinion.
and so she won't like come out and say it, but she disagrees with you guys more than she
You
agrees
just
with
said
you.
everything.
James, in the instance that I just outlined, right? We talked to her after you left, and she admitted she just said that to make you think that because she thought it was fucking funny. She did not, in
I
fact,
don't
agree
believe
with you.
that because she's done the same thing to me, and I just that's highly unlikely.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but I still don't understand, James. You said because she won't say anything's justified, she doesn't know anything. Everything she says is vacuous, right? But when she told you, I don't know, you beat someone in a debate, what, you believed it?
Well, it seems like there's.
Well, no. So she doesn't just like say, "Hey, James, you're kicking the atheist," but she actually like examines my point, and then like occasionally will give me
It doesn't matter.
better
You said
points,
that all
or
of her
will
statements are
actually
Is
vacuous.
point me in the
she
right direction.
is she
You said it was
expressing
vacuous.
is she expressing anything about what's true though, James, when she does that?
Well, I don't agree with her position. I think that her position, like
Why are
atheism,
you
is
taking it?
illogical and irrational.
Look, you just spent all the
It's
time saying
logical
everything
to be an
that's
atheist.
vacuous, right? So you don't get to then say, "Oh, well, she had a good point about me folding Tom or whatever."
No,
She
I'm saying from
believes
her
that
position, where
Judge, let
folded
James answer.
yeah, I'm saying from her position, Hades, she's not claiming to have that. She's not saying that she's right or she's certain or she knows anything. She's not making any truth claims. She's not doing any of that from her view. So when she's telling me something, she's not even imagining that she's telling me something to be funny, like Tom said. She's not even necessarily telling me something that she believes is like encouraging because I just, did really well in a conversation. But from my position and, reading up on these things, I don't have an epistemic nihilist position, which I think is the more logical atheist position. But I don't have any of that. I have a truth maker, God's real. I mean, these are things that I just can't deny.
So when
He
she
just
says,
said that epistemic nihilism is the justified atheist position.
something you agree with, you're going to say she's making truth claims or she's telling the truth, even if she doesn't think she is.
Yeah.
And when she says something you agree with, you're going to say, well, everything she says is vacuous
Yeah,
because it's not justified.
let me respond to David real fast. So, David,
Thanks, Dave.
the reason why I said that is because the proper thing for an atheist to say is that they have no justification for reason or intelligibility. So, from my position, they are taking the justified position. I'm not saying that they believe they can justify anything. I'm just saying that without God as the grounding, then they are stuck here.
You never answered why you
Without God as the ground. Are we
says
really going to do that?
This is kind of a mess.
All right, I
Yeah,
gotta
I'm
I
not.
gotta take a shower. I'll be back.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that, James. And sorry, Haiti, you can go ahead.
Well, I'm pointing out that I asked James why he's taken anything she says seriously when he made the claim that everything she says is vacuous. And it seems like when he agrees with her, suddenly she's onto something, right?
So let me explain this one more time. And if nobody
She
gets
believes
it,
it's vacuous.
then I'm
She
not going
believes
to
it,
be able to
not that
help.
James thinks it's vacuous.
She,
Right, James?
from her position, believes it's vacuous.
Do you think it?
Me, from mine, I think that she has some value behind her
Oh.
arguments. I think she makes good explanations, and I am convinced in some of her argumentation. So I would say that, yes, when she mentions certain things, I agree with them. Her position of not knowing anything, not having any truth makers, saying I don't know to any question asked of her, all that stuff is just from her position, not from mine. When I say it's the justified or the true atheist position, I firmly do believe that, because atheism is irrational and there is no justification.
Right, so you don't believe the things she says are vacuous, correct?
I don't know why he says things like this.
I just
No,
want
I don't.
Epistemic nihilism is the justified atheist position.
vacuous.
I mean,
You're just saying she's saying it's vacuous, but when she's listening to you, you don't think it's vacuous. Is that right?
Yes.
Great. Okay, we can move on.
Just like when we're representing.
I don't.
Go ahead, Tom.
I don't know either, Jack, because like when he says something like that in a room like this, we're just gonna ask him like, what's the contradiction under atheism, and why atheism is irrational to support your claim that you just made. And we know he's just not going to answer the question, right? So, James, why is atheism irrational?
Because you guys don't have an actual grounding. You don't have an actual truth. You have no way of measuring to get a high degree of certainty that something is more true than false.
Like you said, by irrational, do you mean illogical? Like it's like some sort of contradiction?
So you can be irrational without necessarily being X and not X.
So in what sense do you mean irrational? Okay, so when you say irrational, what do you mean exactly?
Well, if you don't have anything that's built into your worldview that can account for knowledge, can account for how you know things, can account for how you reason through things, and all these things are provisional, and they're all capped under not knowing with any high degree of certainty or confidence, then I think that everything you say is irrational. You're not claiming to be able to make a rational statement.
Yeah, but my question was, what do you mean by irrational? You didn't answer that.
I just did.
Yeah, you can't build a bridge unless you know it's contingent on God.
The definition of rational, James.
No, I literally said you can't build truth values. You can't have a truth maker. You can't have any high degree of certainty. Like, if you guys are missing all that part, then I don't know.
Let me try and understand this. So basically, if I'm trying to understand you, James, like atheists don't have like an absolute, as Darth would say, to like ground everything, and therefore without that they're being irrational. Is that correct?
I would not necessarily argue the precept position, but I would say
no, it's not a precept. That's not a presupposition. That's not a presupposition.
It's pretty close.
Precept,
yes.
Comma, position. Well, then what do you mean when you say grounding?
Because whenever you ask an atheist, how do you know things, there's not a consistent response as to how they know things. And usually when you examine their worldview, you find out that they don't know things. They say statements like, I could be a brain in a vat, or I don't know I exist, or you might not exist.
So if I understand correctly, that there is a blank space that comes in the worldview like character sheet, and what that blank space is titled, how do you like know things? And the atheist has not written anything in that blank space, and therefore is irrational. Is that correct?
Well, what they've tried to fill it with, I think, is irrational.
Just an answer yes or no, and then I'll understand what you're talking about. I'm trying to understand your position.
So yes, they've tried to put certain things in that spot.
But you're saying they don't have something to ground, right? That represents not filling in the blank space, right? And in virtue of that, the atheist is irrational, correct?
No, because you could say that you have something that you believe grounds it, but it just doesn't make any sense. And so the atheists who do say this is what grounds my belief, knowledge, all this stuff, you usually find out that it's vacuous, or that it's just as wishy-washy as them knowing they exist.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense.
That we know the existence of an immaterial God. Yeah.
So when you say it doesn't make sense, that's what you mean by irrational?
Well, yeah, I clearly distinguished. You can be irrational with not necessarily deriving logical contradiction like X and not X.
Yeah, but
James, if I have to
you
pick
said
an
they could
ultimate
put
grounding, do I have to
No.
pick the Christianity grounding?
Wait, please.
no. Yeah. But you
Yeah.
said so they can plug something into that blank space, as Tom said.
This is what I'm talking about.
But it doesn't make sense. What?
Tom asked him a question, right? James may or may not have answered, and then like two other people jumped in.
I don't even remember the question anymore.
The character sheet.
That's what happens every time, pretty much.
I'm
Yeah, but
just reiterating
that
what
works
Tom
for
said.
him. That's a good thing for
Yeah.
James, though.
Sure.
Otherwise
I
you'd be
mean,
converting.
if James didn't want to answer it,
The question that you asked is something about if someone doesn't put one thing as the grounding, then he is irrational. And then you ask, is that James's position? I'm
Yeah, because
paraphrasing.
previously when we first started talking, I said, why is the atheist irrational? And then you said, like, they don't have like a grounding. So that sounds like they've left the character sheet blank.
Mm-hmm.
But then you seem to have changed that. It seems to be not what your answer is anymore.
No, what they believe is grounding their position is unintelligible, which is the same thing as saying they don't have a grounding. It's like they've scribbled stick figures in the center of the page, but they don't actually have like an idea of what a person is. So it's like here they are, this is their outline, this is what they're claiming is grounding. But then when you start asking them questions about it, you find that there is no certainty on that. There's no confidence on that. They're still just as confused, which is why the most justified position from my worldview that an atheist can take is an epistemic nihilist.
Certainty and confidence have to do with knowledge.
Yeah, and so when you are saying that someone is irrational, you mean by that he doesn't have certainty about a thing? There is no certainty in any one of his beliefs? Is that what you're saying is irrational?
That was one of the challenges that I made, yes.
I'm
but
not
that's
asking
not
if it is a
necessarily
challenge. I'm not asking if it is a challenge. I'm asking whether or not this is what you claim to be irrational.
Well, I would say that for any kind of claims, if you're even holding to fallibilistic knowledge, you have to have justification even within that. Or even probabilistic knowledge, you have to have, once again, justification for why you believe there's a greater probability than a lesser probability. So if you are doing that, you've still got to have a system, something that you are building that from. But if you don't have that, then eventually it becomes vacuous because you're actually not saying anything.
Why don't atheists have those? Who's
First of all, nothing in atheism implies that you don't have certainty. But let's suppose an atheist doesn't assert any certainty about any one of his beliefs. That doesn't mean that he cannot use, let's say, mathematics or probability theorems to assign some type of a probability on a prior or a posterior.
True.
You missed one thing, Rhodey. Not anything in atheism also defines that you have certainty. What we're doing is we're looking at the atheistic worldview, not necessarily the definition of atheism. Because we know that that's used in several different ways. We know that every atheist seems to have a slightly varying interpretation of that definition.
What do you mean by world? Theists vary as well.
James, I asked you like some questions that you didn't answer, which is not fine.
When I corrected your statement about saying it doesn't necessarily say that there's no certainty, then I also wanted to see if you were going to concede that it's also not necessarily saying you have any certainty. And we were trying to go from there. I was giving you a chance to agree and then rephrase your question.
No, I don't want to rephrase my question because I want to ask you about those things because I want to understand your position, right? So atheism doesn't entail whether you have certainty or you don't have certainty about any one of your beliefs, right? So it is irrelevant, and I'm not entirely sure why you even have this as one of your features in your argument. But the second question that I wanted to ask you is what you mean by irrational.
Irrational is not having justification.
Irrational just means that you don't have a
But that means
justification.
That means that you're referring to the character sheet being blank, not what's written in it.
No, because justification, from my view, has to be justifiable. There has to be something behind it. If you're just saying that A is my justification, but we go and look at A and there's nothing under A, it's like, well, this isn't a justification. This is just an assertion you're making.
Don't theists make assertions about their God?
That's shifting the burden of proof.
No, I'm trying to understand
but
how
it's nonetheless
atheists are
correct,
somehow irrational, but if theists do the same thing, they're rational.
This is saying that I've realized that the atheist position is irrational, so now I'm going to go after theism again.
No.
Well, if an atheist grounds things in their presuppositions, just like the theist, how is that any different? Right.
Well,
both are starting with metaphysical assumptions, and they reason from them. So what's the difference?
Floyd,
how is one irrational and the other one rational?
But Floyd, it's God. It's God, God.
An eternity later.
And when you're having this discussion.
Godless girl is here.
Did you understand that? Did you hear what I said?
Yes, I heard what you said, but now I would like to ask Godless girl. Godless girl is here.
Okay.
She can answer those two questions, please. One, are you an epistemic nihilist? And what is your definition?
So on some definitions of epistemological nihilism, I'm not, because I think like there's some of them that definitions where they don't think you can believe anything or have reasons for believing anything, and that's not my position. But my position is I don't think anybody's justified in believing anything. So, and people like there's semantic dispute about whether or not that's epistemological nihilism, but the semantic dispute isn't interesting.
Gigi, regardless of what you call your position,
Gigi, I'm trying to get some clarification real quick, please.
I'm a skeptic about justification.
So you're not claiming that knowledge exists, right?
Right. I think knowledge does not exist.
Okay, and you would say that also potentially because knowledge is you're just taking the first part of the definition. That's great. But you would also fall into the second part of the definition. You don't believe that it's attainable for us as humans, right?
Right. Well, I mean, but I try to defend that you could have knowledge of an omniscient being who could not tell a lie, give you revelation.
Yeah, so perfect. So JJ, she agrees with my definition. There was no equivocation. Now, what the issue was in the other room where you guys were steamrolling me, not letting me talk, is I claimed that Godless Girl is not going to tell you that she is making actual truth statements. She may have a belief, but she's not going to claim to have any knowledge behind that.
Godless, do you make truth statements?
Yeah, so I don't make knowledge claims, but I do say when I do assert things are true though.
Oh fuck,
Thank
James.
you. See,
fuck.
James, you just
There you go,
confuse
James.
knowledge with truth claims, dude.
So can you guys let me
kept
interact with this
missing.
before you guys start crowing like the other room, or
just
move all the atheists off the stage and just leave Godless Girl up here? I'm trying to let you guys stay up here, but you gotta have some decorum. So Godless Girl, you're basing that on a belief statement, right? Something you believe, but you're not claiming any justification.
Correct.
So then there is no truth behind the statement, correct?
Well, I think we
You're
can
not
have
claiming
true beliefs and just it not be a justified true belief.
How would you demonstrate that you're actually claiming a true belief?
I'm not sure I understand the question. Demonstrate?
So if you made a statement, I believe A is true, it sounds to me like you're also saying from your position that you can't know anything about A. You can't know if A is true, but you are making the statement, which is when in the other room I pointed out that's vacuous, meaning that you basically don't have grounds to criticize.
Well, I can I can criticize people's beliefs by stepping into their worldviews and doing it without, my position is going to be irrelevant when I'm arguing with somebody else about their worldview.
Yes, that we're in agreement with. My claim in the other room, which thank you for agreeing with, has been met that from your position, you're not claiming any of these things. You are just taking and doing an internal critique on someone else's position.
Most of the time when I'm debating, I'm doing an internal critique, but sometimes I'm making I'm saying that I believe things are true.
So what would you say that belief is based on from epistemic nihilism?
That at the foundation of all their worldviews, their foundational beliefs are just arbitrary. They believe them on a whim, and they don't have a reason.
If you want more, just ask
So their entire worldview collapses into absurdity.
This is from you, from the epistemic nihilist vantage point. You said you believe, but I'm asking you, what is the basis of that belief?
The basis
They're
is
feeling.
that at the
Yeah.
foundation of everybody's worldview is just arbitrary, so there's no support for it.
So you would say that how you justify your worldview is by criticizing someone else's worldview, but that doesn't seem like proper justification.
Well, I don't think I'm justified in saying I don't justify it. I don't think that even though I'm pointing out that the foundational beliefs are arbitrary, I still don't think that that's justification. Because how do I know that?
So you would agree that you're not certain that you're making truth statements?
Oh, definitely. I'm not certain of anything. I don't even know anything.
Godless, do you believe that if the axioms of logic were true and the semantic context is typical of these statements, do you think that an unmarried man would be a bachelor?
Well,
Well, I didn't understand that
yeah,
question.
I believe that, but I don't think I'm justified in believing that.
You don't think that we could be justified if they were true?
No.
The axioms, right? Like this is
Yeah,
similar
because if the
to
axioms are
how you.
unjustified, but I just take justification to increase the probability the belief is true, right? If you don't have a reason to think that your foundational belief is more likely than not, then how are you fucking measuring the probability for a belief that's based on that belief that you don't know how likely it is?
So you're just saying that
Answer the
the
question, Orphan.
justification doesn't like transfer over. Wait, that was a question? I thought you just made a response.
Yeah, I'm asking you why would you think that if you don't know how likely the first belief is, because it's just arbitrary on a whim, that belief increases the likelihood that another belief is true? That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't even understand the fuck you guys are talking
Well,
about when you say that shit.
the reason why I said if the axioms are true is like because like given the system and like coherence, and it'd be a form of justification. Like I agree, we have to
No,
assert
it
the
doesn't matter
system,
if they're
but
true.
like I don't know why you want to say this isn't a form of justification, but the Christian God is somehow. Like, what does God give to the rational process that the laws of logic does not?
I don't think that though.
You said that the Christian can have justification.
Well, I don't believe that the Christian God actually exists. If the Christian God actually existed, I think that they could be justified.
Okay, so what does the Christian God give, which the laws of logic don't in a rational pursuit?
Well, he can give the if he existed, he could give you revelation so you could know for certain that things like the laws of logic are true.
So, but so you're saying like because he's omnipotent, but then we're stating so it's necessary. Like if they are true, then they're true, right? So they're necessarily true, which is like
What are
tantamount to
necessarily
omnipotence in that
true?
case.
The
Like
laws of logic?
the laws of logic, yeah. Like as stipulated, if they were true, then it would follow from those that we'd be justified, given those notions of justification, in the same
No,
way
not
that
if
you're
you're not
saying
justified in
omnipotence
believing
would
them.
justify.
No, if you don't have justification to believe the laws of logic are true, then you're not justified in believing things that presuppose the laws of logic.
No, because the laws of logic would be the foundation. Not like God's omnipotence would be the foundation. Like they'd both be necessary in this case.
The laws of logic would be the foundation. Then they would be unjustified. Wait, I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're asking.
No, sorry, but then how is God's omnipotence justified or transfer credence?
Do you mean his omniscience?
Like I don't see the distinction. Yeah, I don't see the distinction.
Oh, well, I don't have to know how a car works. Like, say I was a Christian, right? I don't have to know how a car works in order to drive a car, right?
So you're
so in order
saying
to get
one.
the revelation from the omniscient being, I wouldn't have to know how he knows things. I would just have to know that he knows things.
So you're saying that like
I have to go.
one grants credence, one transfers credence, and one doesn't, but you don't know why, like what the difference is between those two things. Without a difference.
I can't talk right now.
Okay.
So, James, do you now agree that Gigi makes truth claims?
No, she makes vacuous statements that are called truth claims. And you guys don't understand what she's saying because you're not understanding epistemic nihilism.
So you say she makes truth claims, or she makes claims that she calls truth claims, but they're vacuous. What would it require for her to be making?
Does she know she makes truth claims?
You already know the answer to that, John Lee. You know the answer is that she believes.
Yeah, she doesn't know. She doesn't have a justified true belief. She has no rationality behind it. So there, other than vacuous, there's not really another good definition for it. But I will say that she is a lot more consistent than the majority of atheists I run into on Clubhouse. And I think you all should be epistemic nihilists.
I go hard in the paint, yeah, homie, I'm a saint. Ride or die.